Okay then, let's cut through this bullshit. For far too long, the left have had to endure the endless self-righteous squawking from the so-called red states, peacocking about their freedom and fiscal responsibility, while simultaneously demonizing every single thing about the thriving, innovative and actually productive blue states. They preach about bootstraps and individual liberty, then turn around with their hands out, eagerly snatching up the very federal dollars generated by the very liberal economies they constantly mock. It's a grotesque, infuriating display of economic illiteracy and hypocrisy, so profound it makes you want to tear your hair out. But thankfully, Governor Gavin Newsom just dropped a truth bomb so explosive it should silence these self-proclaimed masters of the universe once and for all. But these people have no shame. They'll be back in no time, hand out, begging for more money, then slapping your hand away the moment you give it to them. Newsom has now pulled back the curtain on the grand illusion, exposing the ugly truth about who's really carrying the country and who's just playing the role of the ultimate economic parasite. Now get ready, because the numbers don't lie, and they expose the red states for the colossal frauds they truly are. Newsom didn't just offer a vague, unsupported opinion. He brought the evidence. He laid out the hard, cold data that utterly demolishes the right-wing fantasy of their own economic prowess. He spotlighted the uncomfortable, inconvenient truth about who contributes and who consumes. Newsom dissected the fiction from the fiscal reality. Pay close attention, because what you're about to hear is the unapologetic truth from a man sick to death of the Republican lies and their constant taking and begging for money, only to then turn around and disparage those who are giving them the money.
What separates our game from the game played elsewhere is innovation, entrepreneurialism, more patents, more engineers, more researchers, more Nobel laureates in my state than any other damn state, more Fortune 500 companies in my state than any other state. Look that up, because I know people are rolling their eyes and saying, no, it's Texas. You're wrong.
It's true. I looked it up.
And we're, by the way, a donor state. We provided $83.1 billion more than we received from the federal government. Texas took $71.1 billion. I'm not saying that to bash Texas.
You should bash them, for they will bash you. They will say to you that you're telling lies over these numbers, and then they will continue to take more money. They're welfare queens. Bash the hell out of them.
But you know what? Pretty proud of my goddamn state.
I saw
Punching
that
above
too.
our weight, man. But AI,
Can you repeat those numbers?
$83.1 billion we provided more to the federal government than we received. In the same year that Texas received $71.1 billion more than they provided to the federal
So
government.
you're net positive.
Net positive.
If you appreciate this content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Are the Republicans not meant to be fiscally responsible? Not meant to be the powerhouses of business and economy? Yet their states are failed economic states, dependent on handouts. The Republicans are incompetent and they're lying to you.
9 out of 10 of the donor states are Trump states, and I don't mean that pejoratively, Trump. 7 of the 10 are Republican states, but 9 out of the 10 dependent states, welfare states, are Trump states. The donor states disproportionately the blue states. 71% of the country's GDP comes from blue counties. Mm-hmm. These same crack-up counties with all these crazy liberals that can't get out of their own goddamn way and the world's come to an end. It's 71% of the economy of the goddamn country, man.
And let that sink in. Take a moment and step back and just let that sink in. 71%. 71% of the entire US economy comes from the very crack-up counties these right-wing hypocrites constantly trash. And while California is kicking in $83 billion more to the federal government than it gets back, Texas, the supposed economic powerhouse, is taking a staggering $71 billion more than it contributes. Now it's time to call them what they are. They are welfare queens. They are the very definition of net recipients, feeding off the wealth generated by the liberal states they love to hate. This isn't freedom, this is economic freeloading, pure and simple. They demonize federal spending and then gorge themselves on your tax dollars, all while lecturing you about fiscal discipline. The sheer audacity, the unmitigated gall is breathtaking. They are living proof that conservative economics is a myth built on progressive backs. The entire right-wing ideology, They decry coastal elites and urban liberals while simultaneously benefiting from the innovation, patents, research and economic output of those very regions. They scoff at socialism and government handouts, but their states are the most federally dependent, clinging to the teat of the very system they claim to despise. They are more socialist than any blue state, for they depend on social handouts. They preach self-reliance, but rely on the wealth of the transfer from blue states to prop up their own struggling economies. It's not just embarrassing, it's a fundamental betrayal of their supposed principles. A lie they sell to their own voters while lining their pockets with blue state cash. They're like squatters in a mansion built by others, loudly complaining about the decor. It's despicable, it's infuriating, and it's time you shoved these facts down their throats until they choke on their own lies. So what should you do when confronted with this blatant, audacious hypocrisy? Don't just get mad, get to work. Recognise your economic power, your innovation, your indispensable contribution to the nation, and then demand that your political power reflects that reality. The only way to truly dismantle this red state superiority myth, and to stop the economic cannibalism, and to halt the flow of your hard-earned dollars to those who despise you while feeding off you, is at the ballot box. Every single time a politician spouts off about blue states being failed, you remember these numbers. Remember who actually pays the bills. And then you vote. You vote for candidates who understand economic reality, who champion progressive policies that drive innovation, infrastructure and prosperity, not just ideological posturing built on borrowed wealth. You are the economic engine of the country. It's time you started voting like it, and make sure these red state welfare queens finally get off their goddamn asses. So what do you think? Is Newsom right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown insightful, hit subscribe and give us a wee thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.